The entire ballroom fell silent the moment the crystal wine glass shattered against the marble floor. Hundreds of wealthy guests turned toward the elegant woman standing at the center of the room, her expensive designer gown glowing beneath the chandeliers as she pointed accusingly at the newest waitress. Nobody dared to breathe. Everyone in New York's elite knew one terrifying truth: Victoria Harrison, the wife of billionaire real estate magnate Jonathan Harrison, never forgave anyone who embarrassed her. Careers had ended because of her anger. Businesses had collapsed after earning her hatred. Even managers trembled when she entered a room. But on that unforgettable evening, something happened that no one had ever witnessed before. A young waitress, working her very first shift, calmly exposed Victoria's deception in front of every powerful guest in the room, changing countless lives forever. Before we continue, if you believe kindness is stronger than pride and that everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who loves inspiring stories, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more emotional stories that remind us humanity still exists. The story began in downtown Manhattan, where 24-year-old Sarah Collins had just accepted a job at the luxurious Harrison Grand Hotel. Life had never been easy for Sarah. After losing both of her parents in a tragic highway accident several years earlier, she had worked multiple jobs while caring for her younger brother, Ethan. Every paycheck mattered. Every dollar had a purpose. She wasn't looking for luxury or recognition. She simply wanted stability and a chance to build a better future. On her first day, Sarah quickly noticed something unusual. Every employee spoke in whispers whenever Victoria Harrison's name was mentioned. The hotel staff had developed silent routines designed to avoid upsetting the billionaire's wife. Housekeepers rushed to hide even the smallest mistake. Managers inspected every table repeatedly before her arrival. Experienced waiters nervously rehearsed every movement as if preparing for an impossible examination. Fear had become part of the hotel's daily routine. Victoria wasn't officially involved in managing the hotel, yet she acted as though every employee existed solely to serve her expectations. She publicly criticized staff over tiny imperfections, humiliated workers for accidental mistakes, and treated everyone beneath her social status as invisible. Many employees had resigned after only a few months because the emotional pressure became unbearable. Sarah listened quietly without judging anyone. She understood that difficult people often hid deeper problems, but she also believed respect should never depend on wealth. Her calm personality quickly earned the admiration of coworkers. She greeted every cleaner, cook, and security guard with the same warm smile she offered wealthy guests. Slowly, people began believing the hotel still had room for kindness. One Friday evening, the Harrison Grand hosted its most prestigious annual charity gala. Influential politicians, celebrities, executives, and philanthropists filled the magnificent ballroom. Television cameras recorded every speech while journalists documented every donation. It appeared to be a celebration of generosity, compassion, and community. Sarah was assigned to serve drinks near the main stage. She moved carefully between guests, making sure everyone felt welcomed. Across the room, Victoria watched every employee with sharp eyes, searching for flaws. Everything changed when a young busboy accidentally brushed against one of Victoria's chairs while carrying empty glasses. Nothing spilled. Nothing broke. Yet Victoria reacted as though an unforgivable crime had occurred. She loudly accused the frightened teenager of ruining her evening, demanding he be fired immediately. The poor young man froze with tears forming in his eyes. Every employee lowered their heads, expecting another public humiliation. Sarah couldn't ignore what she saw. Instead of arguing, she calmly stepped forward and politely explained that the young employee had done nothing wrong. She respectfully accepted responsibility as the senior member of the serving team nearby, hoping to protect him from losing his job. Victoria smiled coldly, convinced she had found her next victim. She loudly declared that Sarah had intentionally disrupted the event and accused her of seeking attention before the wealthy audience. Guests began watching with uncomfortable silence. Cameras slowly turned toward the confrontation. But Sarah remained remarkably composed. Months earlier, While completing mandatory orientation, Sarah had carefully studied the hotel's charitable foundation because she genuinely admired organizations helping struggling families. During her research, she discovered annual financial reports proudly displayed throughout the building. As Victoria passionately praised her own generosity before the audience, Sarah quietly noticed something that didn't match those official reports. The charity gala promoted enormous donations supposedly made personally by Victoria every year, yet Sarah remembered that almost every major contribution listed in public records had actually been funded anonymously by hotel employees who voluntarily donated portions of their salaries through an internal assistance program created by Jonathan Harrison years earlier. Victoria had repeatedly accepted public recognition for sacrifices she had never personally made. Without raising her voice or showing anger, Sarah respectfully mentioned the publicly available foundation records and gently suggested that the audience deserved to recognize the true generosity of the hotel employees whose names had never appeared on stage. The ballroom became perfectly silent. Journalists immediately began checking the digital reports available on the Charity Foundation's website. Several board members exchanged confused looks before quietly confirming Sarah's statement. One by one, uncomfortable expressions spread across the faces of influential guests. Jonathan Harrison looked completely stunned. For years, he had trusted others to organize the charity events while focusing on expanding his business. He had never realized that public recognition had gradually shifted away from the employees who faithfully supported struggling families every month. Victoria's confident expression slowly disappeared. Nobody shouted. Nobody celebrated. The truth alone transformed the atmosphere. Jonathan requested the foundation's complete financial records before the evening ended. Independent auditors quickly confirmed that Sarah had been absolutely correct. While nothing illegal had occurred, Victoria had repeatedly allowed the public to believe she personally funded charitable projects largely supported by hundreds of hardworking employees whose quiet generosity had gone unnoticed. Instead of firing Sarah, Jonathan invited every employee onto the stage. Housekeepers stood beside executives. Dishwashers stood beside department managers. Security guards stood beside accountants. For the first time, the people who quietly kept the hotel running received a standing ovation from every guest in attendance. Jonathan publicly apologized for allowing recognition to overlook the people who deserved it most. He announced that every future charity event would honor employee contributions individually, and that scholarships would be established for workers' children using additional company funding. Victoria quietly left the ballroom without saying another word. The following weeks brought remarkable changes throughout the Harrison Grand Hotel. Fear slowly disappeared from hallways once filled with anxiety. Employees smiled more often. Managers encouraged teamwork instead of intimidation. Staff turnover dropped dramatically as people finally felt respected. Sarah never asked for promotions or publicity. She simply continued treating everyone with kindness. Eventually, Jonathan promoted her to Director of Employee Relations because he believed genuine leadership came from courage, honesty, and compassion rather than titles or wealth. Years later, many employees would still remember that unforgettable evening, not because a powerful woman had been embarrassed, but because one ordinary waitress had reminded an entire room that integrity always shines brighter than status. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that truth and kindness can change lives, please support the channel by liking this video, sharing it with friends and family, and subscribing for more inspiring stories that celebrate courage, hope, and humanity. Speech Balloon's special request. Before the story ends, tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you had been standing in Sarah's place that night? Sometimes the bravest people are not the richest, the loudest, or the most powerful. They are the ordinary souls who quietly choose honesty when fear tells everyone else to remain silent. And in the end, that single act of courage becomes the moment that changes countless lives forever.